Everybody's here.
Okay, there you are.
Welcome to the April 25th, 2024 meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Anton Malver and I'm the Vice Chair of the committee. Tonight, we're joined by District Manager Jesus Perez and Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 6:34 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all community board members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there's time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. David Lowenstein has volunteered to take minutes for tonight. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay. We will not take attendance by roll call. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Thanks, Anton. Committee members, I'll call your name. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is a quorum. Claire Brennan.
Present.
Thank you. Paige Judge. Oh, I see you. Thank you. John Keller.
Present.
Thank you. David Lowenstein.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Malner.
Present.
Thank you. Ann Seligman. I see you.
You'll see most of the
Thanks.
sun weather. You can expect
Thanks,
highs
Ann.
6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Susan Steinberg. Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
Present.
Thank you. With 8 members present, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Brian. Okay. Brian, would you drop the agenda, please? The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Okay. The minutes for the October 26, 2023 meeting, the February 29th, 2024 meeting, and the March 28, 2024 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt these minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting any of these minutes, please raise your hand and indicate which set of minutes you object to or would like to amend. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the October 26, 2023 meeting, February 29th, 2024 meeting, and the March 28th, 2024 meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CV6 website. Okay, let's set some ground rules. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. 3, committee members are unable to attend in person. If you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. 4, all committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time, so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. 5, the chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Committee business. Tonight's agenda. New application and temporary retail permit on premises license for Parita Restaurant Corp. Doing business as Tramway Restaurant at 1079 First Avenue. Are there any representatives for the applicant?
Yes, Michael Kelly, present, representing the applicant. Good evening, everyone. George Kalakarakis is also here. He's the principal. Shall I proceed?
Okay. If you could give us a little background, because I know this location was originally the old Under the Bridge restaurant, which I understand a prior owner had passed away, and it is now under new lease.
Yes, so this is an on-premise liquor license application for Perito Restaurant Corp. We'll be doing business as the Tramway Restaurant, located at 1079 First Avenue at the corner of East 59th. The owner, George, was the manager of the Ritz Diner, located at 1133 First Avenue, which is between East 62nd and East 63rd for 24 years. He also has an on-premise liquor license at his other restaurant, George's Southern Greek, which is at 1144 First Avenue at the corner of 63rd Street since 5/13/23. So he's been in the neighborhood, he knows the neighborhood. George was also an owner of Under the Bridge restaurant in the beginning. He sold a share to the owner that recently passed away. When he was there, they had no adverse history that he's aware of while he was there. George is going to open a 24-hour diner with alcohol sales from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. The reason he wanted to serve alcohol is until 2 a.m. is for customers who are coming in after work. We're doing a late shift. We want a quick meal with a drink. He doesn't want to go any further past that. He doesn't want to attract people that are leaving bars at 3:30 in the morning to eat and have another drink. He's going to have 16 tables with 48 seats and a 10-seat food counter bar. He'll have background music. For future reference, he may apply for a sidewalk cafe, but due to the new restrictions, he probably wouldn't have more than 2 tables and 4 seats on First Avenue, and possibly 3 tables and 3 tables and 6 seats on East 59th, but that is not part of this application. That would be something we came back for. And at this point, we would be open to any questions the committee has.
You say that George has opened a restaurant at 63rd Street. He has this restaurant here on 59th Street. Is he the on-premises manager for both of these establishments?
He's no longer, if he wants to answer, he's no longer at the Ritz because he's been running his own restaurant. The Ritz was owned by his mother, so he worked with his mother for all those years. But he did open his George's Southern Greek, but he'll be spending most of his time now in the new place since the old place is already open and operating.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the committee? Do I hear a motion of no objection?
Motion of no objection. Second.
Okay. Brian, will you take a roll call?
Do we want to go to the resolution first?
You should
Go to the resolution.
Oh, right. We can do that. Okay.
So we have a resolution of no objection for a new application with a temporary permit for an on-premises license for Burrito Restaurant Corp. Doing business as Tramway Restaurant at 1079 First Avenue. Before I continue, Ann, I see your hand is raised. Did you Did you-
Yes, I want to wish these guys luck. I was a fan of Under the Bridge and was sorry that it closed. So best of luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Whereas Michael Kelly, attorney, Georgios Kalogerakos, principal, and I'm sorry, is Robert Hull with us as well? or-
Robert's one of my employees,
Ah,
but he
Okay.
did not make it tonight.
okay, thank you. Appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee meeting on April 25th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process, whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a diner. Whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with alcohol sales limited to noon to 2 a.m. each day. I believe that's what you said, is that correct?
That is correct.
The committee didn't have any stipulations. And there was no public comment. Whereas, well, I guess, Anne, you are a member of the community, so I suppose. But no, I'll say, whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on April 25th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And then, of course, our standard disclaimer that if anything that you told us this evening is not the same as what the SLA application is, then we will urge the SLA to deny the application. Okay, I'll now take a roll call vote. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstained, or not entitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge. Paige, you there? I'm sorry. Let's see. I'll come back. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. David Lowenstein. Thank you. Anton Malner,
Favor.
thank you. Anne Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
We don't hear her.
Paige. Let's see if I stop screen sharing.
Oh, now maybe she.
Oh, we see you, but we can't hear you.
She's not
Oh,
muted here.
yeah,
She's
you're
not
not.
muted.
So
Can
you
she
can
put a
just-
vote in the chat? Is that legit?
If she can manage that,
Can you do like a thumbs up page? Does she hear us? Maybe she.
Paige, can you
Paige.
hear us? I guess, yeah, I think she might not be able to hear us.
Paige, can you hear us?
Yes, no, I can hear you.
Oh, how would you
In
like to?
favor.
In favor, okay. Thank you. Okay, with 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 not entitled, motion passes.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
thank you, good luck. Items 2 and 4, I would like to take together, since they both relate to licenses for Orion Diner and Grill, 395 Second Avenue. Now, let me make sure I do this the right way. Item number 2 is for Ryan Diner and Grill to upgrade to an on-premises license. They have a beer and wine license right now. And item number 4 is the actual approval for the on-premises license,
A temporary
a
permit.
temporary permit on-premises license. Okay. Is there a representative for Orion Grill available?
Don't see, Ellen Lee is supposed to be joining us. I don't see.
Let's do some separate resolutions.
They said they were coming.
Maybe they're delayed, maybe we'll go back to that.
Mhm.
Okay, let's look at item number 3 then. A new application, temporary retail permit on premises license.
That-
I'm sorry, number 2. 2, 3, 4. New application, a temporary retail permit wine, beer and cider license for YCY International doing business as Bon Chan on First Avenue at 367 First Avenue. Is there a representative of Bon Chan or YCY here?
Present.
Okay, the only question I have is that you submitted an application or to the State Liquor Authority on May 24th last year. And here it is 11 months later. I believe we had asked several times for the CB6 questionnaire to be filled out, and I'm curious as to why we are so late in the process in doing this.
Well, my name is Kathy Malone and I'm the general manager of the location. So from my recollection is the spot has been vacant for 11 months. The actual licensing started 3 months prior to us moving in officially, which was like sometime in the summer. I'm not sure about that. I will have to contact my CEO about that information. But it used to be a Tasty, and we took it over a little, I would say about June of 2023 is when I came on board. That's when the construction started. So I'm not fully aware of when my CEO put in the application for the location, but I know we've gotten our license towards the end of the summer, like our temporary notice.
So let me make sure I understand this. You are now operating as a restaurant. You say
Correct.
you do have a temporary license to serve liquor?
Absolutely.
I'm a little confused here because that never came through, as far as I know, to our board.
Because we didn't get their questionnaire.
So, this is sort of moot that we're even looking at this now. If you already have a license from the State Liquor Authority and are serving alcohol, am I mistaken there, or is this true?
Yes, I do have two. I have a temporary liquor license that I just got reinstated. I believe mine's ended in March 23, 2022 of 24. And then I just got one that ends at the end of this month. And if I'm not mistaken, I can run and get it up front by my register, but I have it hanging on the wall.
Okay, so let me understand it. This is into your second temporary license, which will expire at the end of this month.
If I'm not mistaken, because I've also have another location at FB3, which is Staten Island, which also had to sit in front of a committee. So I might get the two misconstrued. Just give me 1 second so I can run up front and get those correct dates for you.
Fine,
If you don't mind, if I could step off.
for a minute.
Okay, thank you.
The temporary licenses, some establishments make use of those because it does take some time these days for the SLA to get to approving like the proper 2-year license. And so that seems to be the case with this particular one.
So they don't have a 2-year license, they only have
Temporary.
almost like. a
And you don't even
one-
come here for the temporary one?
You do, and normally you do. It's just that when we asked for the questionnaire, we never heard back. We asked again, we never heard back. That eventually, my thinking is that the SLA just thought, oh, we have nothing to say. And so it just sort of waited us out, essentially. Though it doesn't necessarily sound like this person right here is the one who was responsible
No, not at all.
for filling out the questionnaire.
But if they already have a license and it seems to be renewed, even if it's month to month, what do we do?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
okay,
So I have a permanent effective date of 3/13/2024. Permit expires 6/10/2024.
June 20th.
Yes, June 10th, 2024.
All right, so it seems to be that State Liquor Authority has extended their temporary license to June 20th, 24. And I guess we're called upon at this stage to issue a resolution of objection or no objection for a permanent temporary
They're looking for.
SLA
Oh,
license for 2 years. Am I-
Permanent, right?
I hope I'm sounding very, very legal, but this seems to be the case. Right, anyway, could you tell us a little bit about this restaurant?
Of
We-
course, absolutely. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Bonchon, which has 7 other locations in New York City, between Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. We are the very first fast casual of the Bonchon franchise. So the rest of the restaurants are full bar, full dine-in restaurants where a waitress or, a waiter will serve you, you'll sit. But this is not the case for this location. So we're super excited about being the first fast casual in and out restaurant in this location. We opened November 8th. Bonchon, if no one has had it, is Korean fried chicken, where it's twice fried and it's hand brushed with love and authentic energy. We're very, very community based. I'm so excited. I finally reached 500 Google reviews and I'm at a 4.9 stars as far as, saying hello to the guests, walking people across, helping, the elderly, which also come in and smell the chicken and say, I wish I could have some of this. But it's an amazing company. I've been only with the company for a little close to a year, and it's a wonderful brand. Bonchon stands for my hometown and is really, really a community base. So with that being said, with us being in this community, we just want to share our authenticity and share the culture of Bonchon, which stands for my hometown. So with that being said, I'm here to extend that inside the community, just to raise a little awareness of the culture, especially with the alcohol, because the Korean culture is like chicken and beer. So it's chamaik in their culture. So that's the reason why we, pair both and they go well together. Our operations from Sunday through Thursday are from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then on Friday and Saturday, we extended an hour to 12 a.m. So we don't serve alcohol past 12 a.m. It's just a place where you can unwind after work. I'm in between about 17 schools. That's including NYU Dental. That's including junior high schools and colleges and about 8 to 9 hospitals, and it's like a small 10-seater, 12-seater location where people come and get to know the brand, the culture, and then we share lots of laughs and good energy.
Thank you very much. I think we got a general idea of the operation.
Thank you.
Do I hear any questions or comments from any member of the committee?
I just want to know, are you planning on using that parking in front of your establishment for outdoor dining at all? And
No, not at the moment.
All right.
I think we have.
Is it an eat-in restaurant or strictly takeout?
It's a eat-in. We have a restroom in the back. I have about 3 seats in the front, 3 tables in the front, and I have 8 at the back dining room.
There's been a member of the public.
Yeah, would you please identify yourself?
Hi, I'm Michael Cohen, and I have a question about this liquor license application. I want to know if, I want to make a comment that the application is for a site that's right near a school. And I want to know if that's okay or not, like.
The schools are like a block and a half away, but we're in the middle of everything. So it'll be, just around that area there on that block in the vicinity between 21st and 22nd Street, there's no schools. So it's a certain parameter where you can serve alcohol, and we are in those ranges. The schools are up in the block towards the end going to 2nd Avenue, I believe. We're on 1st and directly between 21st and 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Motion of no objection.
Second.
Reluctant.
Do I hear a call for a resolution? No objection.
Yes.
Yes. I think.
Okay, so we have a resolution of no objection for a new wine, beer, and cider license with a temporary permit for YCY International FB1 LLC, doing business as Bonchon First Ave at 367 First Avenue. Whereas Kathy Malone, representative, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on April 25th, 2024. CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and the license application process.
It might be more accurate to indicate her actual title, not just representative, but general manager.
Thank you. Whereas Kathy Malone, general manager, appeared before the committee. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a restaurant. Is that descriptive enough?
Is it Korean barbecue?
Korean fried chicken.
Korean fried chicken.
Fried chicken, okay.
Korean fried chicken
Restaurant.
Whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are Sunday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. Do we wish to include any public mention of public comments stipulations? Okay. Whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on April 25th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee, and if any of the representations differ from the SLA application, then we urge the SLA to deny the application. I'll now take a vote by roll call. Please, when I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or untitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. David Lowenstein,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Malner,
In favor.
thank you. Anne Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor?
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. The date in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, 0 untitled, motion passed.
Yeah, congratulate, good luck. Your
Good luck.
enthusiasm is contagious. Thank you.
But the community always lets me know that. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, shall we see if any representative of Brian Diner has logged on?
I don't see anyone. Don't see Alan. Oh.
Okay, next on the agenda, cannabis retail dispensary license for a Little Place to Relax LLC, doing business as Just a Little Higher at Murray Hill at 698 Second Avenue. And I think we already approved them for cannabis license, and this is just for,
No,
No?
we didn't. So what happened was in the sort of rush when the floodgates were opened and everyone was allowed to apply, their application came in.
Hmm,
Unfortunately, it got kind of lost in the system and it never made it to the committee. And then we saw that it was being it was pending with OCM. And that's where we did some digging, wondering, oh, where did this come from? And we were able to find it in our files, but for some reason it never made it to the committee, which we tried to figure out why, but suffice it to say, it never came. So
Okay.
we apologize for that, but.
Glitch in the matrix.
Huh?
Glitch in the matrix.
Maybe, yeah. But,
Anyway, just a little background, myself, Jesus, and that was Brian yesterday. Visited their premises at their invitation, take a look at it, and are there any representatives of Little Place to Relax?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you talk
Yes.
a little bit about your background and the place as it is, and educate, so to speak, the committee in what you're doing.
Sure. So my name is Paul Pagan. I am part of the admin team who is responsible for a couple other already licensed organizations in regards to our location here on Second Avenue. We plan to hopefully be permanently licensed as early as next week or the following. We will be able to open the doors to the community. We look to hire staff from the community. You know, we feel like we're going to be a neighborhood location. We want to give that opportunity for people to be able to, work where they live, as well as bring a safe environment where consumers 21 and over are able to purchase legal cannabis that's tested, grown, as well as regulated by the state of New York.
Now, as I recall, one or two of you also had experience in this business in California. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that's myself. Am I live? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Yes. Hi, my name is Paul Simonian. I do have a licensed retail operation in California. I've had that licensed operation for the last 6 years that California has offered a licensed framework. So I do indeed bring that acumen and expertise to this operation, which I will be helping to manage and oversee to exact the best results for the team at this location.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions or comments from the committee members? Ann?
Yes, what is the security process?
In regards to on-staff security, is that what you're asking about?
Well, I mean, security of the premises, security of the staff, of the people who come in.
Sure. So I'll kind of give you a rundown of, from start to finish here. Every single person that comes into the building that is a customer has their ID scanned through a POS system that will automatically tell their age. We obviously don't allow anyone that is under 21. There is an 18 camera system that is fully monitored visually and as well as attached to police department in case there was any type of danger, harm, or break-in. In the store itself, we will have a minimum of 2 active security licensed and bonded employees that will monitor crowd control, people coming in and out, any type of disruption that may occur, and so on.
Thank you. How many people can you accommodate inside?
I believe I could be wrong. I believe it's 12
Yeah, I
customers.
believe it.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think we have to make any resolution on this. It's a
And.
fait accompli.
And.
Ann and John have their hands raised.
Oh, Ann, sorry, Ann.
No worries. I actually have one like super nitpicky thing, which is that I notice on your on the CB6 form, you give the cross streets at 2nd Avenue and Broadway, which clearly it is not. I don't know if I'm just trying to prove that I actually read it. But it made me wonder if you have, other locations and that's why, like if that was, copied over from something else.
This is Gregory Conagay. Hold on 1 second.
I did it. My name is Paul. I did it by mistake. I was on the phone while I was doing the application yesterday. I know we were all in an email, and I believe Brian had emailed saying make sure that I do it, and I did it. It's by accident, to be honest with you. I was driving in upstate New York on Broadway in Schenectady, and that's probably why I did that.
You should not be driving and typing at the same time.
I was parked at a Dunkin' Donuts, let's just say.
Please. And the other thing, I'm wondering if this is actually really a question for the rest of the committee, but it's also a question for you, is if things change and there is more licensing available for on-premises consumption, both is that something as a committee we might want to add to our form, and for you, is that something that you might want to do in the future if that was permitted?
I don't believe that's part of our immediate future plans. We haven't spoken about it, so I don't think that's something we're going to consider immediately or anytime soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
John?
Yeah, hi, thank you. First of all, welcome to the community. I just want to understand, you mentioned California, which is great. Is there local ownership or involvement in the ownership of this business?
Yes, that would be me. I'm Greg Conagay. So I'm from Queens and I live in Harlem also. I'm one of the owners. I'm part of the owner team that'll be working there and part of the team. So what we did as a unit is when the applications came out, I kind of got like all my friends and family together, and we all kind of like came in as a bunch and went after as many licenses as we can get. And we kind of like picked areas that we had good relationships in and we did a lot of business in. So we also in the music business. So from us having that background, we do a lot of shows like in Manhattan, Brooklyn. So we kind of went at applications, every place we kind of had like a following, so to say. And that's what made us come, in this area.
No, that's fine. You answered my question. I just wanted to be sure, because the whole point of the New York State program is, local some,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
community
No, no,
event.
no.
Thank
Yes.
you. You answered my question. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll just
Yes.
chime in if I may for just one moment to mention that I am not a person of financial interest in this group. So although I hail from California and bring my expertise from there, I happen not to have a stake in the ownership of the business, and it is in fact a local endeavor.
Thank you. Mr. Cohen?
That's fine.
Hi, I'm Michael Cohen. I want to know why you decided to apply for as many licenses as possible rather than just apply for the retail license.
So the way the process was for the licenses, you know, wasn't like a sure thing to get it. And being that a good amount of my friends and family kind of fit the criteria, I just felt it was best that we try, you know, as much as possible to quote unquote go for the lotto ticket. So that's kind of how we did it. And you know, to be honest, we did kind of well. We also, my son has a location on 72nd in Amsterdam that we just got a license for today that we'll be opening tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any closing comments here? We don't have any for business committee-wise for this, no. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
Luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
We're glad to be here in service.
Okay. Still waiting on,
No, not there.
not there? Okay. Next agenda item, discussion of Senate Bill S 8913, which would exempt the restaurant operating at 415 Third Avenue from the alcohol beverage control laws 200-foot rule. Now, Jesus, I know you did a lot of research on this. Maybe you can summarize it better than I can.
Sure. It's good to look at the street view. That restaurant right there with the white storefront that says cocktails. My understanding is that right now it's actually occupied by a restaurant called Fumo. This restaurant, you'll see, is across the street from Bella Union, which has been there for several years. If you go further down 29th Street, as Brian is taking us down virtually, you will see the Remnant Presbyterian Church. They have this sort of 80s looking building here. And this is within 200 feet of those establishments on the same road. And the state the alcoholic beverage control law says that if you are fewer than 200 feet within a religious institution, you cannot have a full on-premises liquor license. Now, one of our newer members, Sarah Whittington, did some gumshoe investigative work and said, hey, but Bella Union is essentially the same amount, is equidistant, and they have an on-liquor, they have a, you know, they seem to have a liquor license. We looked, yes, they do. So why do they get to have one? And this establishment that is just across the street who wants one can't. And we talked to the SLA, and the SLA says that it does look in their system like the location where Bella Union is at has been continuously licensed since 1993. Bella Union obviously hasn't been there for 30 years, but there has been some on-premises license holder there. And it does look like they were not able to tell when the church got there, because if the church got there after an establishment moved in, then essentially they'd be grandfathered. However, if the church was there first, then that might mean, you know, that Bella Union's liquor license is in peril. But from what we can find, it does look like Bella, the establishment on the corner was there first and the church came later. What they were not able to tell is what the status of the restaurant in question is, the one that's Fumo, the one that's actually looking for a license right now, or on premises, because they just have a lower level license. They weren't able to tell, whether it's grandfathered. It does appear that before the current establishment, there was an establishment at that very address that had a full liquor license. The SLA wasn't able to tell how they managed that. So they approached their state senator, Senator Gonzalez, and Senator Gonzalez introduced a piece of legislation that would carve out a little place for them in the in the alcoholic beverage control law. So that I'm not certain if it's this location in perpetuity or just this applicant would be able to be considered, even though they are too close to a church. And so that's pretty much where it stands right now. It does also look like an assembly version of the bill has been introduced by our Assemblyman Harvey Epstein.
Yeah.
So I guess what the committee needs to discuss is how do they feel about any exemptions? Weighing in that, Bella Union is across the street and has essentially the privileges that this other business is
And the
seeking.
prior restaurant in that space apparently had a liquor license as well.
Yes, a full liquor license. We don't know how they manage that.
Did they come to us?
We'd have to look, but our records on Airtable only go back so far.
Mhm.
The other,
2 or 3 different restaurants on that corner, I think, in the last 10 years.
And they all have
I remember.
served
correctly,
liquor.
yeah.
Having heard all this, the fact is that the prior establishment at that location had a liquor license. And it appears if you look up and down the block, there are a number of other restaurants that probably all have liquor licenses. The fact that this particular applicant is looking for an exemption almost belies the fact, what was the state liquor authority thinking? That they have now required that this restaurant, this establishment, go to their representative to get an exception. Because I'm sure that.
Yeah, the remedy
has
is
the
silly.
application.
seems like committee member Ann Seligman requests the floor.
Yes, and
Yeah, Anton, I'm like totally flip-flopping on this because last month I was like, no, why should you get an exemption just because you got like your state senator shouldn't be able to give you one. But then it's like, well, the previous place had one, like, so maybe that's okay. But in that case, I feel like, why aren't they coming to us rather than the state senator? Sort of echoing what David just said. It was like, I feel like that's not the right approach. So I have very mixed feelings about this, and you've just heard 3 of them.
David?
Is there any precedent for us voting on, or the senator doing this, and us voting on it this way?
This senator is very new, so I don't know her entire legislative record, but I'd be willing to wager she's not done this particular thing before. I did ask the SLA whether it's unusual for elected officials to carve out little exemptions for people. And while it's not super common, it's not unheard of. So, he wasn't able to say, this person did it, and this person did it, and this person did it,
But not at this board either.
But I've been here, 8 years, and we have not considered anything like this in the time that I've been here.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either in all this time and longer.
Yeah, what I'd like to
I don't
do-
think we should set the precedent, because would this open the floodgates
Yeah.
for places right next door, and you gave this one a license? Like, I understand that something fell through the cracks to give that address a license previously, but I always am afraid to like let people give them an inch and they'll take a mile.
I tend to agree with Claire, but what I'd like to do is now that we have a lot more
I
information.
think Sarah has her hand
Yeah,
up.
Oh, I'm
Sarah
sorry.
and John have their hand. Sarah?
Sarah?
Yes, thank you. I would tend to agree with what Claire just said. And I did a little bit of the reconnaissance on this because I had been to the restaurant before Fumo started. And my recollection is they were only able to serve a Japanese sort of, not sake, but something like sake. I did not realize they had a full liquor license. So maybe it was before the Chicks Inn, before Fumo. But in any case, I think it's wrong to go to the state senator and ask for, for a waiver for that particular affair. And I would agree it opens a floodgate if you recognize that. It's a hard one, but on the other hand, if Bella Union has the grandfathered, then I get that. But with this new one, they've got other, apparently up in the Upper West Side and in Harlem, there's some other restaurants of the same name. So I don't know what their situation is, but anyway, that's my opinion.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, I agree with Sarah and Claire, and I also share Ann's sentiment that why didn't they just come to us first? We do have two of our local elected officials apparently supporting this. So if this isn't time sensitive, perhaps we could reach out to their offices and understand a little better why they're pushing this. With just out of respect for them, but otherwise, I'm inclined to say, why didn't you come to us first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel inclined to punish Fumo for going to their legislators. They really may not have thought about coming to us. They just did what they thought would be effective. And the other thing is, I just think, ultimately it's not very fair that, somebody across the street has a liquor license because they got grandfathered. So, I'm not in particular agreement with what's been said so far. But I do think it would be good to go to the electeds, Harvey Epstein and Christian Gonzalez, and find out more.
I agree with Susan.
It is possible. As to the time sensitivity of this, it's not clear. Right now, both of these pieces of legislation have been referred to their respective committees. And so, unless they really hustle and get it done, within 3 weeks' time or something, we may have some time. It does look like the elected that's had this the most is Senator Gonzalez. It looks like they approached her first. And that, they spoke with the church in question. Supposedly the church in question doesn't have a problem with the establishment. But again, I would recommend talking to them, directly. But I mean, would you like them to come to the committee? Would you like to have, just informal conversations offline? What is the committee thinking?
A couple things. One, we should contact the representative's office, find out a little bit more background. And I am not averse to having the principals of this business come in and talk a little about this and how they happen to go to their representative first without going to the community board.
So this establishment actually has just in the last few days submitted a 30-day notice to renew their current license, which is not a full liquor license, because it's coming up for renewal. Typically, sort of these kinds of licenses might get just ministerially approved. But it does seem like this committee would have some appetite for, even though they don't have a full liquor license, inviting them in.
Absolutely.
So it might be good because there does seem to be two differing opinions on the committee. It might be good for maybe those of one camp and those of the other to start jotting down maybe between now and maybe a couple weeks from now, jotting down, pieces of a resolution. If in fact, if you sort of, because if you're gonna have arguments that why, like, for those that say, no, this is gonna open the floodgates, this is not good. Maybe have some arguments written down for that could go into a resolution, and for those who feel the opposite, do the same, but just for your side. Because at some point, a resolution might need to be drafted on this. For the board to obviously have any official position.
Okay,
And request the floor.
are we in agreement on that? Any?
Mhm.
Okay.
And request the floor.
Yeah, I just, I was sort of, something that Jesus just said about, like supposedly the church, doesn't have a problem with it. I kind of would love to take the supposedly out of that sentence. So if we do, ask representatives of the business to come in and or, like reach out to the electeds, if there's a way we can reach out to the church to Jesus, I don't know if we have contact information for them, but that would be a piece I would like to have included.
I hear what you're saying, but the question is not whether the church agrees or not. The fact is that it's a place of worship that's within the 200-foot rule. And whether they agree with the state senator making the exception and making it a law, or whether they disagree with that, they really don't have any
It's irrelevant.
big say in it, because it's a legal issue, not a
Not an attitude issue. Fair enough. Thank you, Anton. I take it back.
no problem.
So just before we reach out to the elected officials' offices, what do you want me to ask them?
How it came about.
How it came,
Any relationship to the applicants?
Yeah.
if the electeds have relationships.
Yeah. Other than constituents.
Yeah.
Do they eat there?
Just any candor would be welcome, I'd say.
Mr. Cohen, you had a question?
Yes.
Whoa, oh, little pump.
I would like to know, like, I think it's kind of, like, why did this restaurant deserve this exemption? Like, I understand there's a restaurant in the other block that's been grandfathered for the liquor license and stuff like that, but like, why did it specifically, they're within 200 feet of the church, why should they be exempt and not, well, other restaurants aren't?
Well, that's what we're trying
That's
to
what we're trying to
do.
do.
That is a question. We generally
Thank you, have a seat.
agree.
Yeah,
Page Judge requests the floor.
yes, Paige.
Did anyone get in touch with the Department of Buildings to find out when the church actually appeared on that block?
We have not gotten in touch with DOB yet, but Brian did some digging and we were able to find a DOB permit, which makes reference to the change in building use, which seems to corroborate that. And we found through Acris, when the property changed hands, we were able to, it does look like the church came after the establishment where Bella Union is now. I mean, is that 100% certainty, but we're like 95, 99% there.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we have all had a little homework. And so I'm looking forward to your comments before next meeting. And we'll make a decision based on that.
Yeah, we'll reach out to the electeds. We'll try to get a backstory, see if they have any relationship with the applicants, how this came to be. We will not reach out to the church, as the committee has established, it's neither here nor there. Hopefully you guys will start throwing around some language for one or two resolutions, and one of them will emerge victorious, I guess.
Clean language.
Yes. And then we'll see.
Okay. Have we seen a representative for Orion Diner?
No, it's just the committee. There's a Republic.
No, okay, so,
Bring them in next month again?
bring them in next
Paige
month.
has her hand raised.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is discussion of Business Affairs and Licensing Committee budget requests.
It looks like that may have gotten on the agenda a little bit by mistake. You guys are welcome to talk about it, but you don't actually have any budget.
Here's my chance for a case of wine.
Wait,
Unless-
but are there issues we should have on the, like, I'm not sure what they are, but, because I'm pretty new here, but.
One thing I
And
will-
not that I need another, agenda item, but
One thing I will say is that we are already approaching as a board, the limit of the number of budget requests that the city allows. So we may hit that limit. So unless it's really, really necessary,
Yeah, and I would argue, I bet there are some things that like overlap our committees. Maybe, like, I couldn't even think of something to add.
I can't think, I don't have the air table in front of me, so I can't really talk.
well, there would be nothing on there for this committee.
Okay.
You guys don't have any.
All right, and we don't have anything then. Okay, chair's report.
It looks like a member of the public has, Mr. Cohen.
Would you like to speak?
My peripheral vision is not that good.
So,
It's fine.
so what is the limit of the number of budget requests, like,
You're asking what the limit is?
yeah,
Actually, I have it written down. I can let you know. The limit is 40 capital requests, which include continued support, and 25 expense. As of earlier this month, we were at 37 capital and 23 expense. And since then, committees have met, and it does look like some have proposed new ones. So we're brushing up against that limit. There may be some that need to get jettisoned to make to.
Okay.
thank you very much.
or combined. There was some suggestion of combining items.
Less is always more.
I really don't have anything to report. I'm sure we've all seen that the budget has been approved for New York State, and within the budget, the situation that there's going to be increased enforcement of for the OCM to move against and the various local police departments or local cities to move against unlicensed cannabis shops. Now, I think there were two bills that we had recommended for approval that covered these, and I'm not sure whether these bills would have any added effect as to what already is in the budget, but I think we should keep our eye on it. The fact is that, it looks like the state assembly, the governor, and some of the powers that be are taking a much stronger line in terms of closing these illicit shops. Not that they can't close them now, but that they can do it much more expeditiously, in fact, overnight if necessary, which is something that we can see with unlicensed restaurants that serve liquor that can be closed down right away. Hopefully the same thing can be done with these unlicensed cannabis shops. Now, there was a report, I think, either on the New York Times or regarding some of this, and it was found that a good number of these illicit shops are all owned through various corporate entities by one person. So how this plays out should be very interesting. Because he lives, as the Times has reported, or whether the newspaper was that I read, in a large mansion in Long Island. I have nothing else to report. Any old or new business? Yes, Claire.
I just want to share, and you probably got a sense of this as Anton has been chairing these meetings. This is my last year as a CB6 member. I decided not to reapply this year. It was a very difficult decision because I really have loved my time here all these years. But as you also know, I got married recently and we are living slightly south of the district. So I thought it was time to open it up for new members. And I just want to share my appreciation for this committee. It was really great leading you all with the support, obviously, of Jesus and everyone on the committee and staff who have left since, and obviously Brian now, but I just wanted to make that announcement officially and thank everyone again.
Well,
And
we appreciate your leadership. So
Thanks.
Anton, you're now going to be the chair.
That's, well, let me say that Claire has been very helpful in this transition.
Thank you, Claire.
And I very much appreciate her help. I very much appreciate the contribution she's made ever since I've been on this committee, which I guess about 3 years now. And she's always been very straightforward, kind, and is willing to listen to other people's ideas and follow through. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would just
thanks,
like that.
Claire.
Just like to echo that, and you know, with Keith, Kyle, and Claire, we've had 3 extraordinary chairs, and Anton, I'm delighted that you're chair. Claire, we really valued your leadership. Thank you very much.
thanks, John.
Okay.
You should try and come to full board because I'm sure they'll want to send you off.
I will definitely be up full board this time.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. This committee is officially adjourned at 7:40 p.m.
Nice.
Thank you all.
All right. Sorry, I'm not there to say hi and say bye to Claire. But
I'll be full board. And
Cool.
I hear there might
See
be a
you
little
there.
shindig getting planned, so that too.
So you're now
And
looking-
thanks to whoever let me zoom in because the timing was just too tight. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, you
So-
might not have even made it by now. We're done so early.
I know, right? All
So
right,
Zoom's
take
not so
care,
bad.
everyone.
Zoom's not so bad after all, is it, Anne?
You know what? I believe it is valuable as an occasional backup, but I really wish I was there with all of you. Like I would really, that would be my preference. So I just,
Claire, you living there in Bushwick?
No, just in the Lower East Side.
Right.
So Clinton.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Yes.
bye, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Good night.